If you are looking for shop lights or garage lights that you can film under with your mirrorless camera or even your iPhone maybe without getting those rolling or slow scrolling lines up and down or across your image, and if you also want to make sure those lights are producing color accurate light, which will ensure that when you do film that your footage doesn't have any weird green or yellow tint you often get from cheap shop lights or cheap garage lights, which can make the colors on skin tones in your video just look bad, then I'm going to talk about my choice of new lights for my garage, and those are these Centric Daylight T8 LED tube lights from Waveform Lighting. These lights have a high color rendering index or CRI value, so they output really color accurate light, so you don't have to try to fix the bad color you might get in your videos when you use those cheaper shop lights, be it older fluorescent tubes or even newer LED tubes from places like Home Depot or Amazon. Just because a light is an LED light doesn't mean it's producing color accurate light. So if you do want to film in your workshop or garage, then I would recommend getting something that doesn't flicker and something that reproduces light accurately. And just so when you're doing other things in your garage that you might want color accuracy, like painting projects or staining wood, if your lights are color accurate, then you can see the real colors of what's going on. And I'll kind of go through why I got these particular ones and show you a bit of the installation, but this really isn't an electrical how-to video. I just really wanted to talk about the lights. So I had been using standard fluorescent tubes in one lighting fixture in my garage for far too long, and in the other lighting fixture I had been using these Philips LED tubes from Home Depot, which honestly both worked fine for basic garage lighting, but the fluorescents finally all burned out. And even though these Philips LED tubes were still all working, when I came out here to film things, these Philips LED tubes would still produce flicker in most of my videos with most of my cameras, and I just needed some upgrades overall. So with my new lights, number one, I wanted to be able to use any of the cameras in this room without the lights creating any flicker in my videos. I wanted to just walk out here, turn on the lights, turn on the camera, and start filming. And if you're not familiar, most DSLR or mirrorless style video cameras like I'm using right now, like the Sony a7 IV or FX30, or even iPhones and smartphones sometimes in some scenarios, when you film under some artificial lighting, again like fluorescence or some LED tube lights, you often get this slow video roll that goes up or maybe down or across the image depending on how your camera is oriented. And you can't always see it when you're filming, especially when you're on a small screen like I'm looking at right now. But a lot of fluorescent and even newer LED tube lights that you get at big box home improvement stores can create this unwanted effect in your videos. And here's a test shot. I filmed for a bit and then I sped up this clip, and you can plainly see how even these newer Philips LED tube lights create a vertical rolling up the video image. And this effect can also be pronounced if you film at high frame rates and slow down the footage in post, but even if you don't slow down or speed up your footage, you can often still see it at normal playback speeds. It's there, and it can differ depending on the camera you use and the lighting you use. And this video or lighting roll is just because the flicker or refresh rate of the lighting itself, along with our 60 Hz electrical system, at least here in the US, together with the readout speed of the camera reading its own sensor and the shutter speed, just doesn't always work together, so you often get those rolling bands of light in your image. Now granted, many cameras have some features in them that help you dial out this flicker if you get it. For instance, the Sony a7 IV and the FX30 have what's called variable shutter, which lets you finely tune the shutter speed to help deal with any potential lighting roll in your video. And even the older Panasonic GH5 has a synchro scan feature which does the same thing. But not all cameras have this feature. For example, the Sony FX3 does not have the variable shutter feature, so you may encounter video roll with the FX3 that you wouldn't get on the FX30. So it's just one more thing to not have to worry about if you just get lights that don't flicker when filming. And when I filmed out here, I usually have to set up other film style lighting and not even use the overhead lights so I wouldn't get that flicker. And I still do that sometimes if I want a more flattering lighting look, but sometimes I don't mind showing that I'm just in the garage. I wanted to film quickly. And lighting companies that make lights for just around your house don't always consider if the light flickers when filming with cameras. Now you can buy LED tube lights that state they don't flicker, but just because they don't flicker does not mean they can reproduce their white color output with accuracy, which leads to my second criteria for new lights. I wanted those lights to have a high CRI or high color rendering index, meaning the lights themselves output a very color accurate light. So if it says it's 5000 Kelvin, it's going to produce that color very accurately, because remember, white, even if it's a bit warmer like 2800 Kelvin or cooler like 5600 Kelvin, whites are a combination of all colors, and cheaper lights may appear okay color-wise to your eye, but may actually have a lot of green or maybe a yellow or magenta tint in the color spectrum they're outputting. And if the light doesn't output good color, that will show up even more in your videos, and you can have a real hard time correcting things like skin tones. But again, even if you're not filming, having lights that output color accurate colors or whites can be important if you're maybe painting something or staining two pieces of wood and you need them to match. Color accurate light helps you even with your eyes. So I wanted lighting that didn't flicker and was color accurate. And lastly, number 3, color temperature. I wanted a different color temperature here in the garage. I've always kind of had warmer lights in the garage, around 3,000 to maybe 4,000 Kelvin, in that range, because I just didn't like the whiter daylight lights. It felt too sterile and bright all the time. So if I did use the overhead lights when filming, I had to set my camera's white balance to make those warmer lights look accurate in my video image, and that's fine, it works. But if I wanted to open up the garage and let in the sunlight, then the light from outside would be a lot cooler or bluer to my camera. And if I went from outside to inside and back and forth, the white balance would kind of be all over the place. So I was always dealing with varied color temperatures between, again, outside and in here. So I thought, okay, I'll go for more daylight balanced lighting in the garage since this is a workspace most of the time. So with all of that, a quick Google search turned up Waveform Lighting and these Centric Daylight series of lights, which do not flicker when filming, but also have that high CRI value. So these lights produce very accurate color across their spectrum, or so they say. I don't have a light meter, so I'll have to take their word for it and their spec sheet and see how my videos come out. And I should note, I am filming under them right now. I did a custom white balance with my X-Rite color checker using the white balance card, so I'll leave this on screen and you can see how it looks. I did not alter the white balance in post. I'm going to leave everything color-wise as it is when I filmed with the camera. And these tube lights come in 3 different color temperatures of 4,000 Kelvin, 5,000 Kelvin, and 6,500 Kelvin. I was a bit disappointed they didn't have a 5,600 Kelvin version because a lot of video style softbox and COB lights come at that fixed 5,600 Kelvin value. So I had to choose between the 5,000 or the 6,500 Kelvin version of these waveform lights. And in addition to being color accurate for filming, they also market these lights as being very good for things like art galleries, because when you're viewing priceless works of art like a painting, you also want the light in that space to be accurate so you can see the painting the way the artist meant you to see it. Now, yes, there are film and video specific lights I could have retrofitted into the old lighting housings in my garage, one of my favorite being these Quasar Science Q30 4-foot 5,600 Kelvin tube lights. They don't flicker and they're dimmable with a standard inline dimmer, but this specific model seems to be out of production, at least the ones that are a fixed Kelvin value. Quasar Science also makes a bicolor model, the X Crossfade, but to change the color temperature, you have to do that on the light itself. So if I wanted to change the entire garage, I have to get up on a ladder and manually change 8 different tubes since I have 2 banks of 4 tubes each. And the crossfade lights are $85 a piece and a bit more than I wanted to spend for garage lights. And there are tons of other film and video style tube lights, but those can get really expensive really quickly for a single light like this Amaranth T2C. A lot of them have full color and white and effects, and I don't need RGB. I just need white. I don't really need effects. I wanted to put these lights on a regular light switch that was already in my garage. I didn't want to have to get out my phone and use an app. I just wanted simple but non-flickering and color accurate light. So that's why I went with these Centric Daylight LED tube lights. And I decided to go for the 5,000 Kelvin version. Now, these are definitely more expensive than your standard T8 tube light from Home Depot. And you have to get a 4-pack, and that 4-pack is about $180, which means these lights are about $45 each, but it's been worth it for me. Now, the other cool thing about these lights is that they can be installed in some existing ballast fixtures that you would normally put fluorescent tubes in. And remember, if you're using old fluorescent style lighting, fluorescent tubes need a ballast in their electrical system to operate properly. And if you're not sure what that means, call an electrician. Don't try to do this yourself if you're unfamiliar with doing electrical work and dealing with fluorescent and ballasted tubes or not knowing what that is. Just call an electrician. Again, this is not an electrical how-to video. But you have to make sure that the ballast that you might want to use these lights in is on Waveform Lighting's approved list of ballasts. I wasn't sure what type of ballast or what model was in my old lighting fixtures, so I went with the option of removing the ballast altogether because these lights can be hooked up directly to 120 volt electricity. So I went with the bypass option. So now I don't have to worry about ballast in any of these lights. I just have to remember to not put fluorescent tubes back in these fixtures. And remember that not all tube lights are the same. Again, those ones from Quasar Science cannot work when connected to a ballast. Ballast can actually harm some LED lights and break them. It can be very unsafe electrically or create a fire hazard. So again, be careful before you just go swapping out any lights in your garage. So for me, I first shut off the power to my garage lighting, I opened up my garage lighting housings. I completely cut the wires going from the ballast to the 120 volt house wiring. You can see here the ballast is just completely cut and disconnected from any wiring, so it's no longer doing anything. And then I wired the 120 volt house wiring directly to the little tombstones they're called on the end. And the tombstones not only provide power to the light when inserted and twisted, but they also physically hold the lights in place by gripping the little pins that are on the ends of these styles of lights. And I decided to leave the ballast physically in the fixture even though it's not doing anything, but you can just remove the ballast at that point if you wanted. Then I just safely tucked all the wires behind their cover, installed 4 tube lights in both of the fixtures in my garage, and turned the power back on. And these Centric Daylight fixtures can be wired in many different ways, so you don't have to really completely redo the wiring inside the housing. So this made it pretty easy for me, and I went with the hot on one end of the tube with the neutral on the other end. And lastly, these waveform lights come with these little stickers that indicate if you have put your fixture into bypass mode, aka if you've rewired your fixture like I've done and now the tubes are getting a full 120 volts directly from the light switch. And you can and should put those stickers on the housing or on the tubes themselves to indicate that the ballast has been bypassed and to not put fluorescent tubes back in that housing. So now I have garage lighting that I can film under immediately that don't produce flicker, and when I open the garage, my 5000 Kelvin lights match the outdoor sunlight very well since I don't get a lot of direct sunlight here in the garage. Otherwise, you might want to go with the 6500 Kelvin lights, but I'm very happy with these 5000 Kelvin versions. And to note, Waveform Lighting had nothing to do with this video. They did not reach out to me. Nobody's sponsoring this video. I bought these lights with my own money, and I'm just really happy with them, and I wanted to share. So for now, happy filming. See you later.